This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello and welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In. It's me. I'm on my own. Dave still hasn't recovered from Saturday in Rochdale and he's tucked up under a blanket crying for his mum. Both? Doesn't look like it, does it, Rob? I mean, Dave's a big lad. He's not going to be hiding. So, yeah, no, just me, I'm afraid. Good evening, Bob. Bob, Dave's not okay, I'm afraid. He's, like I said, crying into his blanket. So, never mind. CJ's got Oldham. Nice one. CJ. Yeah, so we're off the back of another 4-0 win. Emphatic win last night against Boston. I'm going to need your calls. Needless to say, Ibby is lined up, ready and waiting. But the big question tonight is, are Latics now genuine title contenders? Can we do it? Do we have what it takes, the strength in depth, the tenacity, the skill, the goal scorers across the park, the defenders? Do we have what it takes? We've now only got 3 games before the end of the year. We've got the upcoming league games, I mean. We've got Wealdstone at home, Braintree away, and York. I fancy us. I really do fancy us to win Saturday. I'm going into Saturday confident in the FA Cup against Leyton Orient. They've not won a great deal of games. They're not doing too well. I think if we're going to beat them in the FA Cup while we're in this division and they're in League One, I think this season's probably our best shout. So I'm going into Saturday with some confidence. But either way, if we win it, brilliant. We get into the 3rd round draw. We potential big payday. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. We move on to the FA Trophy then, isn't it? After that, against Stockton, which, you know, season's gone by. I think maybe we may have struggled. I think he's going to rest some key players for the Stockton game, if I'm honest. I give up some of the other lads have run out, which I think is fair enough. But I still think we'll probably have enough to beat Stockton on the day. And then, honestly, I think there's nothing to suggest that Wealdstone or Braintree have pose any threat for the current Latics side. And I think we'll beat those two, which sets us up nicely then for the game against York. I'm just going to keeping my eye on, I'm sure some of you are watching it now. If you might have your eye on that while you're watching this. Or you might just be watching that, which would be fair enough. But Forest Green and Halifax are drawing 0-0. Barnet are beating Yeovil 1-0. And those are the games that matter to us. So Halifax are on a good run of form, actually, or a decent run of form. So it'd be great if they could hold Forest Green. And it'd be really nice if Yeovil could pull one back against Barnet, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how it goes. But either way, at the end of tonight, we're going to be in 4th place. Nothing can change. And as it stands, we're 5 points off Barnet. 6 points off Barnet and 5 points off Forest Green. So it's really all to play for. So let me know. Give us a call. Can Oldham win this division? Do we have what it takes? And do you think that we'll win it now? And is settling for anything less than the league title acceptable? Should we, we've a lot of our fans have been, we're Oldham, we should win the game. Oh yeah, good point there from Niall. Yeah, with a game in hand, by the way. Yeah, we've got a game in hand now, and that's only against Rochdale. So it's a banker. So, we've been, a lot of our fans are going, we're Oldham, we're playing Southern Legends Centres and all that. But, we've not been that good, have we? Let's be fair. We've not been up to the standard that we're at now. So let's hope that we can do it. But do you think we should be now? Is this season the season that we should be winning the league, or is that too early? I need your calls. I was just thinking this. I was listening to the interview with Mickey Mellon just before we came on air, and I was thinking, yeah, he said he'd come on, and we should speak to Mickey. Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, Dave, if you're watching, make it happen. Yeah, forget sexy Dave, more like wimpy Dave. Absolutely. Wimpy Dave, absolutely. So anyway, I've managed to talk to myself for about 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. That's not bad, that. But I'll talk to Ibby now. All right, Ibby.
Evening, Matt. You okay?
I'm all right, mate. Are you?
I'm okay. It's a shame that Sexy Dave's not in the studio today.
I know. Well, I spent all day with him on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, he's feeling a bit under the weather, and he's got to get his energy levels back up for the train down to Leyton Orient on Saturday. So we'll let him off. We'll give him this one to rest. So, but how are you feeling after last night, Ibby?
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing, mate, because that was enjoyable yesterday. It was against a post team against Boston, but who cares, mate? 4-0 is a good result. Every single player were outstanding. And the big question is, you're asking, are we genuine title contenders? Of course we are, because we're in rich off form. And after Christmas, you need to ask us this question again, because if we continue winning more games, I think we will smash the league and get out of there, because, mate, we're on a very good run. Mickey Mellon is working his magic.
Hasn't he done a fantastic job? I think, like, when you look back at where we were last season, the kind of football we were playing, the results we were getting, how we were struggling against teams. This season we've beaten all the newly promoted teams at home comfortably. We've not conceded a goal. We've scored 13 in the process. No slip-ups, no banana skins, none of that. Just, he's transformed this team, maybe, hasn't it? It's like a different team altogether.
Absolutely. Last season was a struggle, and this summer he said that we're going to take it seriously. It's taken a while, but it's all coming into shape now. And huge credit to Mickey Mellon for doing this, because it's him that has got this team going, and the players are responding. I'm just delighted for Mickey Mellon, and he's showing his true form now. And I believe he will get us out of this league. And the day when we're out of this league, I will be over the moon, because it's so hard to get out of any league.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I don't want to sound like a killjoy, but like, it's a hard league to get out of, and you can have a brilliant season in this season and not get out of this division. And looking at, there's definitely a few teams pulling away now. Top 5 are 4 points clear from Rochdale in 6th. Like, we've got that game in hand, which would push us, up into 40 points. And it's looking like, for me, the top 4 or 5 are pulling away now. It's no one has really mucked up. York have lost a couple of games in the last 5, but they've still only lost 3 games all season. It's if these teams in the top 4 or 5 keep this form up, it's going to go down to the wire, because I think that's probably going to be the case, because I think that these top 3-4 teams are much better than the rest of the division. So it's really just a case of everybody keeping up with each other. And because I think Latics' form has been superb. We couldn't do much more than what we've been doing, could we? I mean, we've been winning. We've drawn a couple of games in the last 5, but we've lost 2 games all season. That's tremendous.
Yeah, Matt, honestly, you're bang on correct there, Matt. And we just need our players to keep injury free, because if one of our players get injured, then we could be in trouble. But I'm hoping that this run will continue, and then when it comes to January, we can add 2-3 quality players to push a bit more further, if you know what I mean, Matt.
Well, what Mickey Mellon has been doing is he's been improving the squad all the time. He's not been sitting still. They've brought in Stones, which has obviously been ongoing for a while, and Klukas, 2 brilliant signings. I think the difference with Stones in the team, Fondot came off the bench won a penalty, scored the penalty, brilliant penalty, dead confident, smashed it down the middle. And he wanted to, he wanted to take the penalty, he wanted the responsibility. He came off the bench, made an impact. But Stones is just something different, and I think that it's going to be really, really important that we keep him. I think if we don't keep Josh Stones, then we're going to have to bring somebody else in. And I think he'd be a really hard player to replace, because I think for this level, he's just like got it all really, and him and Norwood are just have a brilliant combination. So, but we'll just have to see. I've got faith, though, Ibi, for the first time in a long, long time. I've got faith that the manager that we've got really knows what he's doing and is being backed as well. It's more, important to say that he's been backed by the board, and he's been given the money and the opportunity and the means, and he's using it wisely.
Absolutely, Matt. You're absolutely bang on correct there. And what I liked about yesterday in his match interview, said that there's more to come from the team. And I'm just delighted for Norway, because the past few games I can see that he's coming back into form, and there's a smile on his face now. But all I want from him is him starting celebrating goals. He might be embarrassed that he's in this league, but come on, if you score for Oldham, I want you to start rubbing it in and celebrate, because that's what we want from you, because you're the main person.
As long as he's scoring, I'll take it. I'm not too fussed. There was a nice little exchange between him and Lundstrom last night after his goal. It was a superb ball from Lundstrom over the top. Really, really good goal. And there was a nice little exchange of smiles between the two of them, because they both appreciated that. And look, I mean, I'm desperate to get out of this division. I'm desperate for Oldham to get back into League One, because that's where we were for such a long time. I'll feel like we're back to where we were when we get to League One. So let's hope that happens. Beating Tamworth 4-0, beating Boston 4-0, it's all nice, but and I celebrate the goal with in the appropriate way. But I'm not going to lose my head over these results. We've just got, this is kind of like work that we've got to do. This is the work that we've got to do to get out of this division, get promoted, get into League Two. And then when we're in League Two, it's a case of getting out. But it'll be, the excitement level will raise a bit more when we're in League Two. And then hopefully we'll get promoted out of that, and the excitement level, and it'll start meaning more and meaning more. But, I think we were always going to roll Boston over yesterday. I thought, though, that after the second goal went in, I thought that, but prior to us scoring and the substitutions, he was just making the substitutions, Mellon, and Stone scored just before he went off. But I thought we were making hard work of it for a little while. I thought we let Boston get back into the game. Hudson had some saves to make. They hit the bar. I thought we're just being a bit sloppy here. And then out of nowhere, big ball over the top from Manny and a good finish from Stones, and that was it. Game was over. So it would have been nice if we'd have just killed them off a bit earlier. It wasn't a perfect performance, I thought, but you don't get perfect 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think there's a long way to go with this team, like Mellon said. I think if that team is today, our team is today, was absolutely flying on full cylinders, we would have put 7 or 8 past them easily. But we did more than enough, and the goal difference now is really starting to work in our favour with that 8 goals in the last 2 games, all those clean sheets. There's just nothing to moan about, is there?
Nothing at the moment. And yesterday, what do you make about Jacob Hazel, Boston's open net miss? But luckily, he was offside. I was laughing at that. I thought, bloody hell, you missed the open net.
Oh, that's why look at when we've been struggling. You don't take good easy chances earlier on in the season when we were struggling to win games, when Fondop had great chances and couldn't put it in. You're just struggling a bit. It's not, you don't get the rub of the green, do you? But then when the confidence is flowing and everything's going in the right direction, it just starts to work for you. So unlucky to them. I thought, to be fair to Boston, they had a good turnout from their fans last night. A good few of them made the trip from Lincolnshire on a Tuesday night. So fair play to them, and good luck to them, because it was a big game for them coming to Boundary Park on they don't. I think my brother said we'd not played them since 1962 or something in the cup. So it was nice to see them up. So what do you think? Do you think we've got a chance of getting into the third round draw, Ibby? Can we beat Richie Wellens, Leyton Orient?
Of course, we've got every chance, and it will be a close game, but I'm going to go for hopefully a result of 3-1.
Woof! I'll take 3-1. Absolutely, yeah. I think we've got a good chance. I think we definitely can compete with them. It's the FA Cup. It should be good. I mean, hopefully they'll be up for it, and there'll be a few fans in there, and it'll be a good game. And I'd love to be in that draw. I really would love to be in that draw for the FA Cup. If you had, I mean, I was talking to people at the ground last night about this. If you could pick a tie for the third round, Ibby, what would it be?
I would love to have a big team like Liverpool or Arsenal or Man United come in.
At Boundary Park?
Yes, because I always fancy the big teams because there's always surprises. But let's get Leyton Orient out of the way, hopefully with a win, and then we'll see what happens. And Matt, there's nothing more from me to say. It's been a good time at the moment as a fan with Latics, and let's hope it continues.
Here. Oh, nice one, mate. All right, Ibby. Talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Bye. Yeah, there's Ibby kicking the show off as usual. I've got Andy in the wings. Not Andy Halliwell, Andy from down south, who I'm going to bring on. Before I bring Andy in, the Tottenham away, because I think people want to go to that new stadium, but we've had a lot of trips down to London, haven't we? I think we could do without another trip to London. I quite like the idea of us getting a Prem team at home. I'd like us to. I love Boundary Park when it's full. I love the old, I mean, there's a lot of our fans that won't have experienced. I mean, when was the last time we had Wickham away? Yeah, that's probably more like it. But when was the last time we had a Premier League team when we beat Liverpool? When we had Everton, Liverpool, and we only had 3 stands in the ground then as well. So it's been a long time since we've had a proper raucous FA Cup home tie against one of the big teams where they fill the away end. And so I'd be buzzing for that. I would. Don't get me wrong. I'd like a good away day as well, but it'd be really, really nice to see Boundary Park full and charged up, like it gets on FA Cup games. So anyway, Andy. All right, mate. You'll be after Portsmouth away, won't you? Something like that.
No, I'm not sure about that. I think no, because it's not fair on all the Oldham fans, is it? Dragging you all the way down here just to see my local team. I think.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't complain though, would you? If you got that, that'd be all right.
Well, I'd be going, yeah, and it wouldn't cost me as much to get there as it normally does. No. So yeah, Portsmouth away wouldn't be too bad. Also,
now listen,
neither of them are doing that well, so.
Yeah, and we are, so who knows? But listen, I met up with you recently, and I mentioned on the pod about the stats that you'd done. You were a self-confessed geek, I think you said.
Probably.
The spreadsheets and numbers and stuff like that. And you told me that we needed to be on the 2 points per game average, and we needed to win the next 3 league games. So did that include Tamworth and Boston?
Yes.
And Rochdale, but Rochdale has obviously been. We didn't have the opportunity.
So we've got Wealdstone next up in the league, and that should give us the 2 points a game. That would, under normal circumstances, put us in at least in the top 2. There's only 4 times in the last 15 years, I think it is, that 4 times that teams with 2 points have not finished in the top place.
Yeah.
So there's been 4 occasions where both the top 2 teams have finished with 2 points per game average.
So the thing is,
good odds.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there in the next game or 2, but it's sustaining it then for the rest of the season.
That's right. That's right. That's the key. And I don't know if you noticed, but I was quite surprised when I got the Tamworth program. I had a good reading there, and there's actually quite a more detailed analysis of this 2 points a game theory in the program. And what they're saying is it's very similar again this year. You can get sort of 4 or 5 teams by Christmas, by halfway stage on 2 points a game, but generally 2 or 3 of them then drop off that target, leaving 2 or 1 averaging 2 points a game. So it's getting to 2 points a game is one thing, and then it's maintaining it.
That's absolutely. Just want to,
and that's so. I'll have to say, yeah, I think we are title contenders based on the fact that the points per game is not that different between the top 4. And the goal difference, yeah, that could well come into play.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tremendously tight. I mean, I can't see based on. So we've nearly played everybody once, haven't we? We'll nearly have played Wheelstone twice, and we will have played them twice before, probably before we played Rochdale or York. But
so I've had a quick look at Wheelstone's results this year. They're the next one up, and yeah, on paper, again, looking at the league table and positions, you would think a comfortable win for us expected again. But looking at some of their results, they've only won 1 game away, drawn 6, but 6 of those draws, some of those draws have been against the better sides. So they have picked up points against some of the better sides. They just haven't won enough. They're just a bit inconsistent. So
unbeaten in their last 5.
Watch ourselves.
But their form has improved since a certain Alex Reid went on loan there, hasn't? And he won't be available, will he, against us? So
and I believe there are other strikers injured as well, from what I've read. But again, you just can't take any of these games for granted. I think as soon as you do that, then that's when the wheels start to fall off. You've got to work for every win.
I mean, I've been listening to Mickey Mellon in his interviews, and one of the things that he likes to repeat, and he's right to, these things don't happen by accident. The results, the performances, the individual performances, the types of goals we're scoring, these are things that are being worked on. And you can tell that we have a way of playing. One of the things that a lot of fans, myself included, over the last couple of seasons, we don't have an identity. We don't have a way of playing. We don't have a formation that works for us. And like I said earlier on, we don't have to worry now about other teams as much. We can play our own way and let them worry about us. The only time we've really altered it in the last sort of 4 or 5 games, whatever, was against Barnet when we went down there. But I don't think now, having played everybody, that we've got too much to fear. And I think not dropping points against the teams up and around us. And I don't think we're going to be defensive when they come to our place. I think we're going to have a real go. I think when Barnet come to our place, they'll have to worry about us. And I think that's right. And I think that Mellon's, his mindset is don't lose against the teams in and around us. Get 4 points off them, beat them at home, get at least a point away. And then beat everybody else. Because I don't think there's anybody else to be scared of. You're always going to get the freak results, the older shot game, the Solihull game. You'll get the odd one. But looking down the fixtures, Andy, I'm not dreading any of them.
No. We're definitely going to be in with a shout the way it's going. One other thought I've been having over the last few days is around one of Mickey Mellon's philosophies is to improve the team by either improving the players or bringing in better players. So my mind's thought, which players are we looking at that we think we should be improving still? And where do we think we need to bring more in if we need to bring more in? So what have you any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, we was having a look at we were having a look last night, watching the game last night and talking about how it's going to be hard to pick a player of the season this season. This keeps up because across the park there is consistent performances week in, week out. Mark Kitchen is back playing really, really well at left back, almost to the point where he's because we've got new people to cast our eye on and to impress us, kind of falling into the wayside a little bit. Like Jake Caprice down the right hand side is really starting to come into his own. Ogle's been able to play either on the right hand side or in the centre of defence. Klukas coming in alongside Conlon has improved Conlon and shored up that midfield. Lundstrom in behind in that number 10 role. Well, we've got number 10 in the shape of Lundstrom, Charsley, Kay potentially could all play that position. Maybe Khan, but I think that it's between Lundstrom and Charsley. Then you've got Norwood up top. All that is just brilliant. You wouldn't change any of that. I've got a really good goalkeeper in Matt Hudson. So rock solid. Manny and Raglan outstanding. Norwood's just getting back into the swing of it, into form. He's going to. I would imagine he's going to finish the second half of the season as the top scorer. All being well, touch wood and all that. So the only thing, we've got Fondop when he comes off the bench, but I think that to answer your question, I've named all the players, not all the players. I've been through the team, but to answer your question, it's if we can't keep Josh Stones in January. I think we still just need that extra cover in the striking position. Somebody who's going to link up with Norwood in the way that he does, because he's got speed, he's got power. He's got a great touch. He can finish. At this level, it's just a dream. And that front two with him and Norwood is potentially lethal. And then, like I said, Andy on the podcast has been saying, Fondop's been great, but he's an impact sub in an ideal world, and I think just making sure that we've got cover in that striking position so we can score our way out of the division. What do you think?
So, well, I sort of agree with the sort of the 11 that have been picked for the last few games. You can't really fault hardly any of them. In fact, even Will Sutton, I thought it was a bit harsh. He wasn't playing against Boston. I can see why, but But the two that stick in my mind that perhaps could do with a slight improvement on is Jez and Drummond. I just think they're just not quite the end product there that you want from them. The crosses aren't to the quality that Caprice puts in or Kitchen puts in. It would be nice if when they come on, because you do need them to come on during the games, that we just get that little bit of improvement from those two in terms of end product.
I agree.
If we got that, it may compensate a little bit if we do lose Stones. But they're the only two where I think, you say improve the player or bring new in. I think they're the two aspects of their games that I would like to see them both improve on, as just that final product, that final ball, or taking a chance and having a shot themselves.
Well, Drummond's on loan till January, and so there's a good chance that he'll go back in January anyway. He's not. Unfortunately, he's not added any goals. That's the problem. I think he's done well. He is a handful, a bit of a nuisance, but he's not managed to get on the score sheet yet, unfortunately. I think the same with Jez. Jez is one of these players that I'm hoping that Mickey Mellon can improve as a coach. The way that Lundstrom has come out of himself and is a different player. I think Jez is another one of those. I think he needs a bit of work on the training ground and man management and stuff like that to get more out of his game, because he can be a threat. We've seen it, but I think he's not the finished product. But from what Mellon said this season, he said he thinks he's happy to have him. He thinks he's a good lad. He likes working with him, and hopefully he can get more out of him. But the starting 11 now, I'd say. The frightening thing about it, not frightening for us, it's fantastic for us, but for the other teams in the division, is this team hasn't peaked. It's gearing up nicely to kick on in the new year, and that's what is exciting for me, because we've lost 2 games all season and we've not properly at our stride yet. It's still coming together, so I just think that is potentially means that we're only going to get better. And Mickey Mellon keeps alluding to that himself. That we're not the finished article.
Yeah. So looking ahead for me, then I've got Leyton Orient on Saturday. I managed to get my ticket for that, so I'll be travelling up for that one. I think we could sneak that one. Looking at their recent form, they lost last night to Huddersfield, didn't they? Was it Tamworth who beat Huddersfield in the last round?
Yeah,
can't
that's
remember
right.
who beat Huddersfield.
Yeah, Tamworth.
So, in theory, there's every chance we could come away with a win there. And then after that, I've got I should be able to make the Braintree match as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit of a circuit around London for me to get to it. But
Yeah.
that'll
It's a
be the
trek
next
for
one.
everyone, that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've got a long wait before I can get to any more, I think, because there's a lot of games up north in the new year.
Well,
I'll try to get to at least one of them, but it's going to be hard to get to a lot of them.
Well, it also depends if we beat Leyton Orient, who we get in the FA Cup, and that third round's in January, early January, innit?
We might just get Portsmouth. You never know.
You never know. We might be going back to Fulham or anything. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. It'd be nice. Like I said, I would like Boundary Park if we were to get through. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think what it is, it's like I don't expect us to go to Leyton Orient and win, but I do expect us to go to Leyton Orient and give a good account of ourselves. And if they're not at their best, then I think there's a chance that we could beat them. And that's the confidence that I have in the management and the players. And that just feels good. That's why that's one of the reasons why I'm going down on Saturday, because I want to be there if we beat them. Also, it's nice to go to Leyton Orient. It's a nice stadium. It's a good day out and everything. But I'm going there because I feel like we can win it, and it's so nice. Like the mood. I mean, you think about it, Andy. I mean, there was a lot of people on social media and things like that that were saying, they didn't get the season ticket, they lost faith, they didn't like the football and all that kind of stuff. And it's that was only at the beginning of the season in the summer. It's only a few months ago. Things have changed around big time.
Oh yeah. Well, one last thing from it. And the last two games where we have won 4-0, one of the things that I've been quite impressed about in those victories is the variety of the goals that have come. The source from crosses, from good into passing, route one for Josh Stone's last. So we're scoring from different positions and different types of play, which I think is a really positive sign that things are improving. Because we're not, up until recently, everything's been, lots of route one. We don't use that very often, and when we do now, it's really effective. And I've also noticed the central defenders and the defenders going on these long runs forward.
Yeah,
and they're causing chaos. When they do it, they cause chaos. You can see the opposition panicking.
Yeah, getting bodies forward, Andy. I mean, I've not seen the goal back yet, the first goal from Lundstrom, but from what I can remember, the ball was put in from the left-hand side, and Ogle was right in there, and he didn't quite get it, and then Lundstrom followed it in. So getting midfielders and defenders high up the pitch into the box, overrunning the defenders, and when they make mistakes, when the ball breaks, there's an Oldham player there. Such a big difference. The way that he's got us playing is, there was a lot of talk of, he's a defensive-minded manager and all this kind of stuff. It's clearly not true. Maybe sometimes it can be a bit direct, but there is a purpose to it. We've said this on the podcast before. Don't mind going direct, especially in this division or in the lower leagues. Like, don't mind going direct as long as it's well drilled and it works. And I don't think we do it all the time with the big diagonal balls, particularly out to Kitchen on the left-hand side and winning the second balls and then overloading defenders, causing problems, and it's working. So it'll be interesting to see what homework Richie Wellens has been doing on us, our old manager and player, and see if we can cope. And it'll be interesting to see how Mellon sets the team up as well. If he says, right, we know what works, we know what suits us. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. Let's just go and try and win the game, and it's a cup match. Let's go for it. And I'd like that. I'd like to see it that way.
Even if we don't win it, it's going to be interesting to have a look at these League One players just to see how much better are they than us, if at all. So I think I'm quite looking forward to whatever the result. I think I'm going to enjoy it because I think we will give a good account of ourselves. And I think we'll be seeing that we're not that different from these sides at the bottom of League One.
Well, I mean, when you think about who's in our back line, Raglan, Manny, like who's the other regular one, and Regan Ogle. I mean, I'm sure that they can hold their own. Like, they played in that league already, haven't they? Raglan and Manny. So, like, you know, they'll not be overwhelmed. I think Caprice has played up at that level as well. So, like you know, Clucas has played higher level. So there's lads in, and same with Conlon, he's played at that level. So they're not going to be overwhelmed. They're not going to be overawed. Oh, apparently we've got an update here. Forest Green have scored. So what does that do to things?
As expected. We can't have 2 consecutive nights where all the results go for us, can we? Because the results were pretty good for us last night.
Yeah. Well, look, and this is the thing. These teams are going to keep winning. You know, there are teams that are distinctly better than the rest of the teams in the division. We're one of them, but unfortunately, there are a few others, and it was always going to be the case. I think this season that there was going to be. I think, you know, my early prediction was 5th at the start of the season. We could still finish 5th. You know, there's no doubt about that. But we could also finish 1st or 2nd or 3rd. But I think
I'm expecting Gateshead to drop away a little bit, and possibly York to drop away. I think those two are the ones that I think are liable to drop away. And I think Forest Green and Barnet are going to be hard to budge out of those top 3 places.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be in there fighting for those top 3 places with them.
Yeah. I think so.
And I think 1, 2, 3 could go in any order from those 3.
Yeah. And it might come down to the head-to-heads as well. You know, like we beat Forest Green already. We've got to go down there very late in the season. It's going to be a massive, massive game. We've got York on Boxing Day and then at Easter. So, I mean, they're going to be tremendous games. Can't wait for them.
Well, I think I'll leave it there, Matt. I think hopefully you've got somebody else lined up to come in, and we'll give somebody else a shout.
Good to talk to you, Andy.
Yeah, okay, mate. I might see you on Saturday. I'm at the game, so look out for me.
Well, there will be a few of us there because Bob's informed us that we've sold over 1,000 tickets now for Orient, so that's going to be cracking. So, buddy, I'll keep my eye out for you, mate.
So if you go to a pub before the game, drop us a text or something, and I'll see if I can meet you up there.
We'll be doing. I can't remember what it was called that we went into one on the high street last time, but just down the road from the train station. But I'll give you a shout, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, pal. Good to see you. See you later, mate. Bye. Yeah. So, here we go. Let's go from Keith here now. The only time we have previously played Boston was in 52. I say 62 earlier, but only 10 years out in the first round of the FA Cup. At the end of that season, Latics finished top of the table. So we love an home-in, don't we? We love the football, some of these quirks in football. So I'll take that. Dave sent his apologies, didn't he? Sorry, I can't beef there. Oh, Dave, we've coped just about without you. Hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling okay for Saturday, because you did say you were going to be bringing travel Scrabble or something like that for the train, which I'm sure will last all of 5 minutes. Well, listen, I'm going to wrap it up because I've got no more callers, and I've managed to do 40 minutes on my own, which is not too bad. So, Sunday we'll be recording the podcast. Hopefully it will be in the FA Cup. 3rd round draw, which I should imagine will be on Monday night. It used to be, but they do change it all the time, don't they? I'll be buzzing if I really want to be in the 3rd round. I love the FA Cup and I love being in that 3rd round draw. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The podcast will be back. We took a break on this week because, we were in the pub early doors. Got to give a shout out to the Cask and Feather actually in Rochdale, who managed to make 10:30 in the morning feel like 10:30 at night. It was absolutely rammed with Oldham fans. There was karaoke and disco lights and sausages and chips, and it was really good actually. It was quality. Rochdale's it's a pretty decent day out, isn't it? It wasn't expecting to just be in the pub like from such an early hour until such a relatively late hour. But it was really good fun, really enjoyed it. So hopefully the club and Rochdale and Latics will arrange a date pretty soon so we can find out when we're playing them. But until, I've got another announcement actually. I've decided to cancel the Christmas party, because I had a target number of tickets I wanted sold by the end of the month, and we haven't sold them. So I'm just going to knock it on the head. But if you did buy tickets, thanks very much. And email me your bank details, and I'll give you a refund, because I can't do it through the website. But I'll email you anyway. So we won't be doing that. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, if you're listening to the podcast version. And I'll see you for the podcast on Monday. Hey, Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh.
What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/weareoldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh. Thank you, listeners.